Hello, the sun is hot, mosquitoes come, suck your blood and leave you there, all alone, just getting by. Alright, so mosquitoes do in fact leave you all alone after sucking your blood. That said, we're going to look at the life cycle of malaria from bite to finish. So mosquitoes are basically vegetarians until they're pregnant, and then they'll eat anything. No, they need a blood meal for the eggs to develop. So they have to find a human who they go suck some blood, and then their eggs start to develop internally. But if that blood had parasite, it's there developing, and the form in the mosquito can't stay alive inside the mosquito. But some of the blood cells will have a cystic form. And a sexual form. All right. One being sexual, one will be male, one will be female. Females hatch first, males are a little slower. We'd have to wait a while, but fortunately there was a previous bite and some male sperm swimming around, and amazingly they find the egg. Ta-da! The miracle of life happens. Okay, then it hatches into a mobile form, which swims around and tries to find its way out of the gut. And eventually it does. At which point it will burst into thousands and thousands of mobile forms that will find its way into the salivary glands, or salivary if you like to pronounce it that way. And then the mosquito is going to go bite somebody else. And the saliva is used to be an anticoagulant, so it can suck the blood in his ear, but in that saliva are the malarial parasites, which then get into the human and start their long and complicated life cycle inside of the human.
They sent me through to the little epidemic with the survey crew and the black flies and little black flies. Always the black fly, no matter where you go, I'll die with the black fly flicking my bones in North Ontario, in North Ontario. The man Black Toby was the captain of the crew, and he said, I'm gonna tell you boys what I'm gonna do. They want to build a power dam, we must find a way for to make the little lamp roll out the other way. With the black flies and little black flies, always the black fly, no matter where you go, I'll die with the black fly picking my bones.
All right, and flies are another biting insect. Some of them bite and transmit diseases that way, and some just lay their eggs in us, like the bot fly. Um, oh, that's starting to get disgusting. We're going to move away from that because, well, you know, lunch. Oh, here's a lovely little animation. I love fly animations. Ooh, flies get together, have a little sex, and then lay eggs on you. And then those eggs, well, they burrow on in. Okay, larvae burrow on in. There you go. Oop, oop, oop. Grabbing a hole, climbing on in. Ooh, and we're going to stop it right there. All right, so ticks are another vector. That crawl around in grass and weeds and stuff like that, and they bite deer and dogs, and they bite us, and they transmit diseases like Lyme disease, a variety of other, um, and they can create other issues. These are a vector. And when we talk about vectors, typically, and we talk about zoonotic diseases, we talk about the reservoir. So we don't consider ourselves the reservoir, but the deer are the reservoir of the Lyme disease, and the ticks transfer it from them to us. We're just a blood meal who ends up getting a parasite from the bite. And vector-borne diseases are tend to be managed in a different way because we have a vector we can get rid of in the middle. And so here's a list of top 10 vector-borne diseases, not necessarily by deaths, but that we affect. Look at the end, and there'll be lots of links to more models and readings on vector-borne diseases, but we're not going to model them in this class. I just thought you should know about them.